Hello, my name is Jonathan Neumann, and my good friend Rabbi Daniel Fine has asked me if I might share a few words with you while we're all in seclusion. And I thought maybe I would say something about my book, To Heal the World. It's actually something that we had discussed in the past about me coming to Stanmore to speak about, and we thought that actually, you know what, this is an opportunity for me to share the ideas with you, and you can listen at your convenience. So, the book is called To Heal the World, How the Jewish Left Corrupts Judaism and Endangers Israel. Quite a bombastic title. This is what the book looks like. Now, because the camera is in reverse, it looks like the book is in Russian, but it isn't. It's in English and it's available on Amazon. And I thought I'd tell you in 5 brief points what the book is about. The book is about Tikkun Olam, a concept that's literally translated as repair the world or perfect the world, or more poetically, heal the world, hence the title of the book, To Heal the World. And it is the dominating concept, the dominant concept in American Judaism in particular. We get some echoes of it in the United Kingdom, but really it's an American Jewish phenomenon. And that's what I'd like to talk to you about. And I'd like to make 5 points for you to summarize the thesis of the book. The first point is that this idea of Tikkun Olam, and we'll come on to exactly what it means in a moment, this idea of Tikkun Olam is really the dominant form of identity for American Jews. It's in the life of an American Jew from cradle to grave. It's in books for infants. It's in curricula in primary school and secondary school. It's in extracurricular programs for teenagers and adolescents. It's in initiatives for students on campus and programs for young professionals. It's in synagogue. Jews will hear it. Jews in the pew will hear it from the pulpit, and they'll read about it in countless books and articles and magazines and journals. Liturgy in synagogues and temples in America has been adapted to incorporate or emphasize the concept, and American Jewish adults might join any number of Tikkun Olam committees in synagogues across the nation. And Tikkun Olam is or rather the American Jewish adult, is living in a community that is shaped by grants from incredibly generous American Jewish philanthropies that are dedicated to Tikkun Olam. For example, the federations, which give an incredible $2 billion every year to charitable causes, the Jewish Funders Network, another $1 billion, and various other household name Jewish philanthropies, incredibly generous, but all dedicated to Tikkun Olam. So it's in the life of an American Jew from cradle to grave. We also see it in polls and surveys of American Jews, just how animated they are by this concept more than anything else. And the great American Jewish denominations are also totally dedicated to Tikkun Olam. Reform Judaism, the largest denomination in the United States, 30-40% of American Jews is totally committed to Tikkun Olam. Conservative Judaism, another fifth or a quarter of American Jews, also permeated by Tikkun Olam. The much smaller renewal and reconstructionist movements are basically synonymous with Tikkun Olam, and it's even making inroads into Orthodoxy as well. As one American Reform Jewish rabbi said, Tikkun Olam is a concept that any American Jew should be able to recognize automatically, and that's absolutely right. In fact, Tikkun Olam is so hegemonic in American Judaism that it's also the community's greatest export. Prominent non-Jewish Americans talk about Tikkun Olam. Presidents Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and governors, senators, congressmen, Supreme Court justices, professors. Tikkun Olam is incredibly recognizable outside of the Jewish community. So that's our first point. Tikkun Olam is hegemonic in American Judaism. Our second point is, okay, so what is Tikkun Olam? What does Tikkun Olam mean? Now, we've said that literally it means repair the world, perfect the world, more poetically, to heal the world. But what it denotes, at the end of the day, is social justice. And that's not just me talking. The advocates of Tikkun Olam will also say that as well, and they're absolutely right. So Tikkun Olam means social justice. That's our second point, very straightforward. So our third point is, well, what is social justice? Now, social justice, in a nutshell, leaving aside what we'd like it to mean, what we think it should mean, what social justice does mean in reality is left-wing politics. Now, we say this without judgment. Thank God we live in a democracy. In this country, Americans live in a democracy, American Jews live in a democracy, and we can all choose whatever political opinions we like. There'll be some of us who have exclusively left-wing opinions, some of us who have exclusively right-wing opinions, and many of us who have a range and a mix of those opinions. The question that we're examining today and that I examine in the book is, what's the relationship of Judaism to this political program of social justice? Now, a very, very important point, and if you're going to take away anything that I say in this brief discussion, it should be this. Tikkun Olam and social justice is about politics, not charity. Now, sometimes charity, local kind of grassroots work, volunteering, what people sometimes call social action or direct service, these are sometimes subsumed under the rubric of social justice, but they are fundamentally distinct. Social justice is a political ideology, it is not charity. And again, this is not just me talking, this is the Tikkun Olam movement itself absolutely endorses that position. Social justice is about charity, it's about politics, it's not about charity, and sometimes in fact our commitment to charitable work can even distract us from the redemptive work of political social justice. And it's something that I discuss a lot more in the book. It's a very, very important distinction to make. So that's a very important point. And another critical caveat is that there's absolutely no doubt that Judaism absolutely mandates us to engage in charity and those sorts of good works. And not just towards Jews, but also to non-Jews. There's no question that the Gentile hungry, as well as the Jewish hungry, need to be fed, that the Gentile homeless, as well as the Jewish homeless, need to be sheltered, and the Gentile, as well as the Jewish naked, must be clothed. So absolutely Judaism mandates all of that. We're not talking about charity, we're talking about politics. And Tikkun Olam, social justice, have an opinion on every issue in American political discourse, from the environment, labor, taxes, immigration, healthcare, incarceration, guns, foreign policy, you name it. Tikkun Olam and social justice have an opinion, and that opinion is invariably in what is in America on the political left, and sometimes even kind of radical positions. And again, people are entitled to hold those positions. The question for us is the Jewish component. Does Judaism mandate this political program of social justice? So we've said three things so far. We've said that Tikkun Olam is hegemonic in American Judaism. We've said that Tikkun Olam means social justice, and we've said that social justice means left-wing politics. Our fourth point is, well, although we've said that Tikkun Olam means social justice, what it really means is Jewish social justice. So what's Jewish social justice? Jewish social justice, it'll come as no surprise, is exactly the same as regular social justice. It's exactly the same political opinions on all of those issues that we mentioned and others. But there's one distinction. What makes Jewish social justice Jewish is the claim that this political program of social justice is endorsed by and mandated by the Jewish tradition. That if you read the Bible or you read the Talmud or rabbinic writings, you will find a mandate, an obligation to engage in this left-wing political advocacy, and this is Judaism, and even that this is Judaism's most important teaching, most important tenet. And the Jewish social justice movement points to a number of texts in the Masorah, in the Jewish tradition, to try to make their case. In particular, the creation of the world, the creation of human beings in the image of God, Abraham appealing for the residents of Sodom and Gomorrah, Joseph's economic policies in Egypt, the Exodus from Egypt, Yetziat Mitzrayim, the books of the Nevi'im, the prophets, and the various appearances of this phrase Tikkun Olam in rabbinic writings. As an aside, it's very interesting, although that people think that Tikkun Olam is some divine commandment from time immemorial, goes back to Horeb, to Sinai, or even to the creation of the world, Tikkun Olam doesn't appear anywhere, in fact, in the Bible at all. At all. It's only in rabbinic writings that it comes up in various different places, in various different guises. But it's incredible that something that so many of us think is a central idea in Judaism doesn't actually feature in the Bible at all, which is not the case with, of course, every other central idea in Judaism, ranging from Matan Torah, from the giving of the Torah, to Shabbat, to Kashrut, to Mashiach, to the land of Israel, and so on. All of that is in the Bible somewhere. Tikkun Olam is not. So those are the sources that the Tikkun Olam movement point to say that Judaism mandates us to engage in this sort of political advocacy. And in the book, I go through chapter by chapter and subject those claims that they make about those passages to scrutiny. And in every single case, I find that they don't stand up to scrutiny, that the sources simply don't say what the Tikkun Olam movement claim that they say, and in some cases even appear to say the very opposite of what they're suggesting. So that's the fourth point, that Tikkun Olam means Jewish social justice, this claim, this erroneous claim that the politics of social justice are endorsed by the Bible. So we've said four things so far. Tikkun Olam is hegemonic in American Judaism. Tikkun Olam means social justice. Social justice means left-wing politics. And Tikkun Olam is actually Jewish social justice, the claim that those left-wing politics are mandated by the Jewish tradition. This brings us to our fifth and final point. So we've said vast swathes of American Jews are going out and engaging in this political advocacy, and they think that they're doing Judaism. But our fifth point is, so what? So what? Okay, so they're going out. Is it such a big deal? They're going out and doing that. It's such a big deal. The answer is yes, it's a very big deal. It's a big deal for three reasons. The first is that this obsession with Tikkun Olam in American Judaism and the belief that it is mandated by the Jewish tradition is born of Jewish illiteracy. And it cultivates this illiteracy that essentially the political ideas that one might already have are conveniently also what Judaism believes, and that I don't have to do, the traditional aspects of Judaism. I can rather just go out and engage in this political advocacy, and I'm doing Judaism, and that's sufficient. Now, as somebody who's has always believed that it's great for Jews, and I like Jews to be doing Judaism at a level that is comfortable for them. This is a problem. It's sad to see, and it's a misrepresentation of Judaism. And as I said, it's born of this Jewish illiteracy and cultivates it. So that's the first problem. The second problem is that Tikkun Olam is stridently universalistic. It roots moral obligation in creation. It tries to break down barriers between peoples, and specifically between Jews and non-Jews. And ultimately, it has no answer to the question, why be Jewish? Why should Judaism persist? Why does Judaism exist? It has no answer to that question, because the obligations that it sees incumbent upon Jews are also incumbent upon everybody else. We all share the same provenance. We all have the same rights and obligations as everybody else and towards everybody else, and we all have exactly the same destiny. So there's no difference between Jews and non-Jews. There's no real reason to make the sacrifices that Judaism demands. There's no purpose for the Jewish people in the world. There's no need for Jewish people in the world. And Tikkun Olam thereby theoretically and theologically endorses assimilation, and therefore it's no surprise that those denominations that are so dedicated, most dedicated to Tikkun Olam, are also those suffering from the greatest rates, catastrophic rates of assimilation, 70% outmarriage rate outside of Orthodoxy in America, totally unsustainable and really a really catastrophic situation. So that's the second problem, this universalism and endorsement of assimilation. And the third problem is that if there's no need for a Jewish people, no need for a distinct Jewish people, there's also no need for a Jewish homeland or a Jewish state. And so what Tikkun Olam does is that it again encourages this distancing from Israel. It gives theological justification to the political hostility toward Israel that we see in some pockets of the American Jewish community, particularly on the fringe left and amongst some of the youth, which is very troubling. So the reasons that the Tikkun Olam, this hegemony of Tikkun Olam is so troubling and so damaging is because it is bound up with Jewish illiteracy, bound up with assimilation, and bound up with this distancing from Israel. So we've made 5 points just to summarize. Tikkun Olam is hegemonic in American Judaism. Tikkun Olam means social justice. Social justice means left-wing politics. Number 4, that Tikkun Olam really means Jewish social justice, this idea that the left-wing political program of social justice is endorsed by the Jewish tradition, mandated by the Jewish tradition. And the 5th point, that this is a very bad thing. It's a bad thing, A, because of Jewish illiteracy, B, because of Jewish assimilation, and C, because of Jewish distancing from Israel. So I hope you found that interesting. It's a lot of information in a short time. If you're more interested, please do go out and get the book. I'd love to hear what you think. It's available on Amazon. If you'd like to contact me, please do so through Rabbi Fine. I'd love to hear from you. I wish you a Chag Sameach, and I hope that you and all your family are keeping safe and healthy at this time. Be well.